The year is 2025. The world watches in disbelief as a plan unfolds, a plan as audacious as it is terrifying. US President Donald Trump, in a move echoing the darkest chapters of history, has proposed a solution for the Gaza Strip. His vision: to transform this densely populated Palestinian territory into a glittering Middle Eastern Riviera. The cost? The forced displacement of its 2.1 million Palestinian residents. The parallels are chilling. History is littered with attempts to erase entire populations: the Nazi final solution, Stalin's purges, the Armenian genocide. Each began with words, with justifications, with promises. Each ended in unimaginable suffering. Is Trump's plan for Gaza another horrifying chapter in this brutal saga? This is not just a question of land or politics. It is a question of humanity. Will the world stand by and allow such a blatant act of ethnic cleansing to occur again? Or will we finally learn from the mistakes of the past and say, never again? The answer, as with so many pivotal moments in history, remains uncertain. The stakes are incredibly high, not just for the Palestinians of Gaza, but for the very soul of humanity. The world watches, waits, and prays that this time history will not repeat itself. On February 4th, 2025, the world bore witness to a spectacle as surreal as it was sinister. Donald Trump, flanked by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, announced his plan for Gaza. The words "beautiful" and "nice" rolled off his tongue as he painted a picture of luxury high-rises, pristine beaches, and bustling casinos, a Middle Eastern Riviera. What he conveniently omitted was the human cost. 2.1 million Palestinians, their lives, their homes, their history, were simply erased from his narrative. They were the inconvenient obstacle to his grand vision, to be dealt with, removed, and forgotten. This wasn't about peace. It wasn't about prosperity for the region. This was about power, about greed, about a shocking disregard for human life that should send chills down the spine of every decent person on this planet. The Middle Eastern Riviera is a mirage, a cruel illusion built on the backs of the dispossessed. It is a testament to the audacity of those who believe that they can redraw the map of the world with no regard for the lives they upend. The international community, to its credit, reacted with swift and near-universal condemnation. Leaders from across the globe denounced Trump's plan as illegal, immoral, and a dangerous escalation in an already volatile region. The United Nations issued a scathing rebuke, calling it a violation of international law and a recipe for further conflict. But the strongest resistance came, unsurprisingly, from the Palestinians themselves. "We would rather die than leave," declared one resident of Gaza, a sentiment echoed by countless others. For them, this was not just about land or homes, but about their very identity, their connection to a place that had been their home for generations. They had faced hardship before, had endured blockades and bombings, but they had refused to be broken. They would not be moved, not by promises, not by threats, and certainly not by the delusional whims of a faded reality TV star. The world watched, holding its breath, as the Palestinian people once again stood defiant in the face of overwhelming odds. Their courage was a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit could not be extinguished. Behind the scenes, a more cynical game was afoot. Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law and architect of many of his failed Middle East policies, saw Gaza not as a humanitarian crisis, but as a real estate opportunity. He envisioned luxury hotels, casinos, and golf courses, all bearing the Trump brand, of course. Trump, meanwhile, seemed driven by something beyond even greed. Whispers of his declining mental health had circulated for years. Some speculated that he saw himself as a modern-day Cyrus the Great, a biblical figure destined to bring about the end times. Whatever his motivations, his actions were reckless, dangerous, and deeply disturbing. He had tapped into a vein of religious extremism and messianic fervor, and the consequences of his actions could be catastrophic. The world looked on with a mixture of horror and disbelief. How could a man so clearly unfit for office, a man seemingly detached from reality, hold the fate of millions in his hands? The question remains, can Trump's dystopian vision for Gaza become a reality? The obstacles are significant. The international community is largely united in its opposition. The Palestinians themselves are prepared to resist with every fiber of their being. And even within the United States, there is growing unease about Trump's dangerous rhetoric and actions. Yet, the danger remains. Trump has shown a willingness to disregard international law, to pander to the most extreme elements of his base, and to act impulsively, even recklessly, in pursuit of his own interests. The world watches, waits, and hopes that sanity will prevail. But hope is a fragile thing, easily extinguished in the face of fanaticism and greed. The future of Gaza, and perhaps the world, hangs in the balance.